Our Twitch baby can 100% walk at this point.
All right. Think I'm all ready to go. Think we're set up and ready to go. Hello and welcome, friends. It's a very rainy Sunday. It's been very quiet and very chill today, which is great because I was much more tired after yesterday than I thought I was gonna be, but not too tired to not stream. Yeah, we're here. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna play some a new game that just came out like a week and a half ago. Called Me Yawning. That's not what it's called. It's called Ghostwire Tokyo, and I've been looking at it for a while, like over the last year or so, after it was announced, and it looked really, really cool, and it's here now. And I said, you know what? Yesterday was my birthday. I was gonna treat myself to something nice, so I bought myself a new game. So we're gonna do that, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing well. I hope things are going good for you. Yeah, I don't have much to say, except I love y'all. I'm still sort of in shock and floored from yesterday. But it was really, really nice to just like spend time with everyone and hang out and do a bunch of really nice stuff. Sorry, I'm like looking at things while I'm trying to chat at you. But yeah. As soon as like, I know, as soon as some of the stuff that was gifted to me through Throne, once it all comes in, I think I'm gonna wait until like it all arrives, and then maybe I'll like unbox it on stream. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah. I don't have much else to say. We're gonna, I think Ghostwire might be our new weekend game. I want to finish the Bloodborne run that we started yesterday. But I also just wanted to play something new today. So we'll see how this works out. We'll definitely like keep doing The Walking Dead during the weekdays. And next weekend is gonna be weird too, because I have some fun things planned on Saturday for all of us that I'm not gonna announce just yet, but it's a thing, so keep an eye out for that, I suppose. But I think we'll just get started. We'll just do the thing. I'm excited to check out this game. Like I said, it's one that I've been like looking at for a while. So the fact that it's here now is incredibly exciting to me. Hopefully sound is all fine. It should be. But if it's not, let me know. I've checked all the options though, and I think everything should be set up, so I think we're just gonna start a new game. Oh dang. I have heard that combat is fairly easy, but I think we'll still just play on like normal for now, and we might boost it up if it ends up being too much or too easy. Fruity, hi friends! Emmy?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't. Allie also has been subbed for 18 months, and it's wild? It's wild. Y'all are wild. But hi friends, welcome in. How are you doing? How's it going? Thank you, Emmy, for the sub. I appreciate it. Also, Nem, hi, I love you too. Also, Fruity, hi, I love you. You were doing you will learn. Okay, sorry. I'm very excited about this game. Bunch of stuff is, we've just started. They're throwing us right in the middle of everything, and I'm stoked. Friends are here! It is friend time. That looks incredibly loud. Is the game volume okay? Nah, you haven't missed it. We've just started. This game looks dope. I have been keeping an eye on it for the last like year or so, and it just came out like a week or two ago. So I'm very excited to be checking it out. Also, thank you for the confirmation, Nem and Emmy, that the sound is good. I tried to like get it set up beforehand, but I wasn't sure. Where did it come from? Where did it go? It's done by the same studio that did Evil Within. Also, your face is melting. Hey, sir. Oh, I'm glad that I have the Japanese voices. I heard like the English voice and I was just like, that's weird. So I'm glad that I've got, yeah. That's what you're asking in a weird one. Glad I understood. Yeah, hey buddy, your face is a little smoky. Are the subtitles big enough as well? I can make them larger. They seem a little small to me. Not the void melding. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make the subtitles a little bigger. Font size. Subtitle font size. Can I see what this looks like? Maybe? Yes. Man left his shoes behind! Those seem a little better, but they still seem a little small. Got the Shibuya shuffle. Is that the void talking to us? Also, welcome in, boss. Hold on, sorry, we're just gonna keep messing around with the settings. I didn't realize that the subtitles were gonna be as small as they were, but I will make them larger. That is significantly better. All the friends are here. Well, not all of the friends, but a lot of friends are here. It makes me happy. Hi, friends, I love you. So one of the things that got me interested in this game was the monster design. Seemed really cool. We do appreciate good monster design here.
君たちの魂は純化する。来るべき世界の礎となる。すでに器は整った。それは魂の住まうべきところだ。さあ、集え。
Yeah, okay.
良き終わりはそこにある。
Not the cubes. Fruity might be onto something about not trusting cubes. I still think orbs are perfectly safe. Look at the big one! Sorry. there was a big ghost.
敵だ。あと
何言ってんだよ。そもそも
Cubes do have sharper edges.
おい、抵抗するな。
Cubes are fucking sweet.
お
Me.
前はさっき死んだ。俺が出ていけばお前は終わる。
そんなどうすれば。
We do gotta tell Ghostwire. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what Ghostwir's up to.
僕にはやらなきゃいけないことがある。
やらなきゃいけないこと知るかい。うだうだ言うなら
Is that
お前は終わりだ。
who is that in relation to us?
他誰もいないぞ。
Also, the voice acting is really good.
悪霊だか死神だか知らないが、この体は僕のものだ。あんたの指示は受けない。
そうかよ。だったら力ずくで奪うまでだ。
Don't you just hate it when your body just decides to rebel against you? Also, our hands are all glowy.
だが忘れるな。お前の命を握ってるのは俺だ。あんまりダダをこねるようならお払い箱だからな。分かったら早く進め。
指図するな。
I think Void is going to order us around regardless of what we want. All right, well, that was a heck of an intro. Let's go. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
動きがぎこちないが。
Okay, that's a zoom in. This looks really cool. Excuse me, sirs.
逃げきれない。俺の指示に従え。
Hate businessmen. They don't have feet?
指先に神経を集中させて解き放つ。いいぞ。そのまま攻め続ける。相手の攻撃は守りを固めれば軽減できる。
Oh, that's weird.
守りを片付けようぜ。
The blocking being middle mouse button.
俺がいなければあいつらにやられていたってことだ。
I really like how that looks, though.
済ませようぜ。
そうだ。
A jump,
妹
though.
のところに行かなきゃ。
Do I just have a map in my hand? Nope. How big is map? Fairly big. Gotta get over there. Okay. Time to go to the hospital.
妹に会いに行く途中で事故ったのか。
僕の体を
She's
奪
our
おうとしたやつ
sister.
に話す必要ないだろ。
それもそうだな。
あんたは何者なんだよ。
He's the void, obviously. Does that... Okay, I do have like a limited amount of those. Where are we going?
本当に渋谷なのか。
I mean, it is now. Not Slenderman caught in the rain. Not the Slenderman. I'm gonna kick this umbrella everywhere. Can I knock these over? Oh, but I can't knock those over. Dang, I was gonna try and just be like an absolute menace. We're not, no. Fruity, no. Fruity, no. Also, I like the Japanese voices, but if we would prefer to have English, let me know.
なんだこれ。
That's just a bunch of garbage, my friends.
世界の物体がこちらに干渉している。物は試しだ。触れてみろ。
you.
お前でも力は得られるみたいだな。
You can punch everything. Okay. Ether and crystallized ether. We'll come across crystallized ether that can be destroyed with ethereal weaving. Okay. Enter. Like I said, I think I prefer the Japanese voices as well.
妹ってのは
But whatever y'all want.
それはタイミングが悪いな。
病室は4階だったな。
I want over here. There's nothing in there. Get out of my way. These terrible chairs. Go. How? It's gonna be very upset if I got stuck there. Yes, I will be punching everything from here on out. Look! Patient registration card. Kyoko Kudo. Sometimes. Sometimes I do. Please present your insurance card during your first hospital visit of each month. Bounce! The control mapping is a little weird, but we'll see how easily we get over that. What can I say? I love me my candy. Oh, we've got an anxious message. Takun, come back right away. There's white smoke coming from the entrance. Might be poison. Bread. Candy. Alright, I'm just looking at stuff at this point. Where do you want me to go? There's things everywhere. Tomomi, what happened? Nothing going on here. They seem pretty cool. We got Slender Man and a headless schoolgirl. Great.
何してるんだ。
ああやって体を失った魂を集めてるんだよ。
何のために。
あの世に連れ去るか、そのまま自分たちの餌食にする。どちらにしてもあの魂は救われない。
Our face has seen better days. It's just melding with the void. It's fine. This is a parappa the rapper. It's just the void becoming one with us. It's fine. Oh. Don't they know it's bad luck to open an umbrella indoors? Oh my god! Akos, hi, welcome. How's it going? How are you doing? Accruing XP will raise Akito's synergy level with his new powers. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I understand how experience works. You're not ready for this. Oh, you can't see my cursor. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it was an extremely surprising face that I was not prepared for. There are no content warnings, unfortunately.
Play Me Out is raiding with a party of 3. Kaysh and the gang welcome you.
Akos, I always suggest people try and go to sleep, but also you do you. Dylan, hello and welcome. How are you doing, friend? Thank you for the raid. How are y'all? How was Elden Ring? Yeah, how's it going? How are you doing?
Yosh, Izo.
Yosh? I am doing pretty well. I am extremely tired from yesterday. but I'm vibing. We've got a new game. I'm excited to play it. We've only just started Ghostwire, so my opinion is non-existent, but it looks really cool. I like the concept so far. We've literally just played for like 10 minutes. Oh, welcome in, Kingly. It's okay if you don't got the emote. I can imagine based on the text. But yes, welcome in, Raiders. I'll hop on over here so I can do a quick introduction. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kayshurrr. You can call me Kaysh. I'm a queer horror and mystery game streamer. We like to play spooky stuff here. Today we are checking out Ghostwire Tokyo, which only just came out like a couple of weeks ago. I've been very excited to check this out and just picked it up. We're super duper early in, so I have no idea what's happening thus far, but it looks real cool and I'm digging it so far. But yeah, because I tend to play spooky stuff, we do offer content warnings for every single game that we play. If you ever need to check those out, !CW is how you pull them up. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have that many, or didn't have any listed anywhere. So approach with some caution. Hey, that's totally okay, Dylan. I was just about to say, you've been streaming for a while, so if you need to take a break, feel free. Go ahead and raid and run. We totally understand. If you've got things that you got to take care of, feel free to hop out. And that goes for the raiders as well as the streamer. I appreciate you bringing your friends over, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day, Dylan. Thank you, friends. But yeah, like I said, we have content warnings if you ever need to check those out. Kingly, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. And if you're interested in checking the game out, !game link will pull up the link for the game as well as a list of all consoles that the game is available on. So yeah, like I said, if you need to get up and take care of some stuff, get some food, do a stretch, get some water, take care of anything, feel free to do so. I totally understand raiding and running. That we're here for it. It's important to me that you take care of yourself, but if you do feel like coming back, we will be here for a good long while. I only just started streaming about 30 minutes ago, and I usually go for about 3 or 4 hours, so we'll be around if you want to hang out with us. But yeah, thanks for being here, friends. We are currently trying to do some level up stuff, but I think I've done everything that I can. So let's go back. We have been possessed by some void that's kind of leaking out of our face. It's fine. And now we're trying to find our sister at the hospital. And that is pretty much all that I know and understand. Some bad dude is trying to collect spirits for some reason. And that's everything that's occurred so far. Don't worry, Mom, I'm in the hospital now. I think I'll be okay. We have a healthy respect of the void here. Wouldn't say that we love the void. I mean, you've just been held hostage by the void for so long. You've come to accept and respect it. I mean, you gotta. Oh no! Wait, charge attack. Hey! Okay, but that looks dope as fuck. Just taking him out and they're done for. Understood. Oh, I dig this. Oh, I dig this. Oh yeah, I have said it before, but I'll say it again since there are new people here. I do have Japanese voice on with English subtitles. If that ends up, I think thus far most of us are preferring that, but if it ends up being distracting or we're missing a bunch of stuff, we might switch over. But I think I like the Japanese voice acting better than I do the English voice acting. So C for consumable. I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I don't need to eat anything just yet. Oh! Hello! Is he coming out here? His umbrella's all broken. Okay, hold on. Oh. 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 Is it? I've already forgotten what the rip out the core button was. There it is. Whoa! Ma'am! There we go. But no, we do have English subtitles on, and I think I've made them large enough so that they're easily read. But again, if that ends up being an issue, please let me know. We're seeking information about the following incident. A girl in this photograph disappeared on April 15th, last sighted shopping at 429 in Shibuya. If you have any information regarding her whereabouts, please call immediately. It's gonna be a wild ride, I think. No, I'm super excited. This looks cool. It plays neat. I might need to turn the sensitivity down, though. Because I'm a little too zippy. Aiming sensitivity. Down to about 30, please. Okay. Yes. They all just vanished. There was this white mist that showed up, and they all just exploded into a pile of their clothing. That's all I know. This game does look super cool. Oh! Also, hi, David. Give me the core. I really like how it looks when they vanish. It looks super cool. Okay. Everything. It's all happening right now. It's all the people that got taken. Okay, Can't crawl through there. Understood. There is no pickle juice in this. That is my only complaint so far. But not every game can be Evil Within, I suppose. Okay, this. Look at this. When I found Owada in the operating room before he died, he kept muttering about how he could see some woman. Then I saw her myself. It was a terrifying sight to behold. She was like some kind of shadow, and she looked like she was wearing a mask. Please, you need to lock that OR. I've seen the shadow so many times since that day, and I know I'm not the only one. The room needs to be locked up before the patients start talking. Everyone over here wanting the pickle juice, too. Look, we need that pickle juice. Also, not cyberpunk ninjas. Oh no. Oh no. Excuse me. Does this do anything? Hello? Why does this look so cool? Hello? Excuse me? Also the way I'm just like running after the shadows. It's fine. Hey, you cool?
どうなってるんだ。
警戒しろ。ここはまともな状態じゃないぞ。
It's a good combination. It's a good combo. Like I said, there are no content warnings for this, but there are a lot of flashing lights. I assume probably jump scares. Oh, is that her sister? What does this say? Toshiyuka Kura, patient room transfer 403 to 402. 405, noise complaint for adjacent room. 410, low water pressure. 417, flowers came from brother, needs vase. 417, is that where we need to go? Hey, you cool?
マリー。
落ち着け。目に見えることを全て信じるな。
Can we... Okay. Yeah, I think it's his sister. Mari is a sister, I think? Void face. Let's scoot a little closer. We got the void eye. Hey, hospital, why do you have an ocean in your room? Are you good, buddy? Hey, pal? Oh!
素晴らしい。
It's the man from the television.
ながらにしてあちら側と接続されている。まさに理想的な観測者だ。これで計画は完全となる。
Don't touch her. Oh. Same hat.
人間？もう一人。お前は。
Who are you?
愚かな。魂を解放してやったというのに、まだ肉体などにしがみついているのか。
今度こそ逃がさねえ。
意志の力か。興味深い。だが、お前は後回しだ。周りに触れるなと言ったよ。そうか、お前の。案ずるな。私なら彼女を救ってやれる。
Oh! Right in the leg. I like these masks. Well, that's Ghostwire Tokyo, I guess. Right through the fanny pack. Okay, bye. Well, I mean, we got plot armor, right? That's not it.
ここは死んだのか。
ああ、何もしなければな。
Sir, would you like to introduce yourself to me?
現世の時間で3秒。
This is really pretty.
呼吸1回分で終わりだ。
嫌だ。まだ死ねない。
一つだけ方法がある。体をよこせ。妹は助けてやる。
あんたを信じろってのか。
無理にとは言わん。このままお前は死に、妹はあいつに蹂躙される。それだけだ。
僕は消えるのか。
さあな。祈れ。
This is really pretty.
妹はマリー。僕は伊月明人だ。
今さら自己紹介かよ。
Don't get sassy with us.
KK だ。名前は捨てた。
Where's your guitar, sir?
マリオ、頼む。
It's because he's wearing clothes. Hey!
病室。
Yeah, buddy, take it easy. You just had a hole punched through your chest. I mean, from my general understanding, he was dead before.
俺には戸締まりしろってうるさいくせに。これだよ。マリー。
Oh. Oh, that's why she's in the hospital. Okay.
ここは。
おい、しっかりしてくれよ。
僕は消えなかったのか。
神様に感謝するんだな。ちった見られる顔になったじゃねえか。
You look great, buddy.
で、体はもらっていいんだよな。
約束はしていない。現に僕はここにいる。
We are raring to go.
裏切んなよ。
裏切ってない。
まあいい。居心地はだいぶ良くなったぜ。
妹を連れて行ったやつの居場所を知りたい。
あいつは目的のために大掛かりな儀式をやるはずだ。
じゃあそこに行けば。
ああ、今みたいに返り討ちだ。焦るなよ。今度は俺の行きたい場所に行ってもらうぞ。
Okay. Where? Tell me where. KK, I need to know. We're wiggling. Elevator wiggle time. Okay, so these respawn eventually. I don't know if it's... It's fine. I mean, that'd be pretty dope. I'd just be down for like a road trip stream. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's go. I just miss road tripping,
人がいない。
traveling in general.
みんな消えたのかな。
だろうな。あいつの計画通りなら外との連絡も遮断されているはずだ。
ずっとあ
Okay.
いつを追っていたのか。
ああ、やられちまったけどな。無駄話は終わりだ。行くぞ。
Let's go!
行き先は有限坂だ。
I... Nope, that hurts me.
ダメだ。引き返せ。
Fog will drain your health and eventually kill you. It's best not to remain inside it for long. Understood. Don't gotta tell me twice. This hurts you. This hurts you.
不用意に近づくな。危ねえぞ。
What do we got? Boop. Sorry, this is very pretty. Okay, where? Sorry, I'm not feeling so hot. Gonna go home. Something weird about Shibuya today. You should probably head home too. Besides, this fog is... This fog is what?
なんだろう。
調べてみるぞ。
Okay, but also there are like a lot of little icons on. I'm just trying to make sure that it is like the cars that are the icon, and I think they are. That's fine. Well, no, because they're... Okay, that's fine. Trying to like look at the little mini map and I don't understand. Oh, it's my footprints. I understand. His little shuffle though. Let's go. I like the ragdoll effect. Don't notice me. I want to sneak up on ya. That face, though. Excuse me.
ついたか。あとは鳥居だな。
I don't need those. I have enough bullets. Okay, what is...
ちょっと無鉄砲すぎるか。
Can I go around? No, this just hurts entirely. This is just... Okay. Okay. I did. Okay, there we go. Oh, I see. The Honda had to go. I'm sorry. Can I explore everywhere now?
いいぞ。浄化はできるみたいだな。おい、社の中を調べてみろ。
KK, I'm already here, buddy.
使えそうだ。
Buddy, I'm here!
なんだ。
Kagura Suzu. Series of bells affixed to a small rod, which are rung by Shinto shrine maidens as they perform ritualistic Kagura dances.
ここはもういい。目的地に行くぞ。
Paper dolls? Okay. I just want to, like, wander around everywhere. Hold on, we have a map, right? Also, dog! This is where we're supposed to go. Hi, doggo! Can we pet you?
あれを見ろ。
Over where? Oh.
止めるぞ。今ならまだ助けられる。これ以上奴らに好き勝手させるな。
Oh! Hi! Okay. Hey, I saved you, buddy. I saved you, friends. Many. There are a lot in there. Couldn't figure out what I was looking at for a second.
吸い込まれた。
うまくいったか。あとは近くに公衆電話はないか。
A phone booth.
そんなもの。
いいから探せよ。
Man says find a photo booth. I can do a hydrate. Thank you, Nem. You also drink some water too, though. That's all I've got today, is water. Girls bar. Crystal glass. Silent Nya. Hey. Alright. Question is. Oh, doggo! Hi! I can't pet the dog. How close to trying to 100% this do we want to go? Because I'm kind of here for it. Or at least as of right now. Hey. Are there more? You can pet the dog! You can pet the dog! Perfect. Very good. Hey! I just wanted to find more ghosties, but oh well. Here's our phone booth. What? Who is Ed? Oh? Okay, well, I have to find all the spirits then, if that's saving the people. Mama. What is your plan, my guy?
お前は誰も救えない。
するなだと。なら渋谷中の霊を集めて邪魔してやるよ。
Okay. That's a lot of
道案内の
spirits.
続きだ。有限坂に行くぞ。
No, that's still fogified. There's still fog over there. Special devices are scattered throughout Shibuya, hidden inside ordinary telephone booths. These are actually machines that transport the spirits you've absorbed with a Kadashiro to safety outside the barrier. A friend of KK's named Ed awaits their arrival and will help them become living humans once more. The more spirits you send, the more XP you'll be okay, yeah. Makes sense, understood. Spirits. I gotta find them all.
エドって人はどこかで生きてるのか？
その予定だ。ほとんどのことが想定外だ。どうなってるかわからん。
As you explore Shibuya, you may occasionally come across shining yellow ether crystals. It will award you with valuable mica? Okay. Just money. It's just money. There's some over here, and I thought they were the regular ones. But give me all that cash. Gibba. I do want to find more spirits, though, but I don't know that I can.
今はいい。先を急げ。
Okay. Give me your fucking money! It's rude to point, sir. That takes much longer to charge up than I think it should. I keep sending it off a little too early, is what's happening there. Okay. Is there... just fog. There's just fog over there. Why are you still making noise? Can I shoot these two? I can. I don't just have to punch them. Understood. Does that also go for the ones that give me ammo?
何か使えるものがあるかもな。
何あれ？猫？
Look at the cat!
あれは妖怪だな。人がいなくなったから出てきやがったのか。
Demon cat? And it speaks in puns?
形があるな。持っている数が多ければ効率的に霊を救えるぞ。珍しいものが売ってるな。
Okay.
あ、
Okay.
エンジンがある。好きなんだよな。
We love Nekomata here. Okay, alright. But look at all the things I can
買
buy.
っちゃうんだよな。
I want to make red bean paste buns.
キュウリだけ持っていてもな。
Okay, hold on. Okay, we're gonna buy another Katsashiro. Let's just buy as much dog food as we can possibly have, because I think I have enough.
買い物の待ち時間が一番辛いな。
悪かった
KK,
ね。
yeah, boohoo. I love this cat. I love this cat so much. Look at those good beans. I love them. Okay. But I have the dog food and I want to see what happens if I give it to the dog. Where is that dog? Dog, where did you go, dog?
And that's a raw fact.
Yeah, it is. There's a dog right there. See, there's a dog. Hey, dog, can I can only pet you? Okay, well, I guess I can't give him the food then.
いい子だな。
おい、もう行こうぜ。
Okay, so there's no... Maybe there are other dogs I have to give food to. Excuse me? That's fine. This doesn't shock me about you, David. Oh. It hurts me back there. Oh, the run isn't a is a toggle, not a hold. That's weird. I'll get over it. I want more money so I can buy more treats. Why are there just like a whole stack of books in here? Horrible. Hi, Gucky. There's probably a setting to change the run. I'm not gonna mess around with the controls yet. Headgear worn when performing lion dances. How are you doing today, Gucky? How's it going? I'm having to, like, get used to, like, all of the controls anyway, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. Thank you for getting getting that shout out there. Nice. We love some good lore videos here. Allie, you have a point, but also, I don't know that those are books that deserve to be in the trash. This is where they want me to go. So before we go there, what is up here? Man, I hope you enjoy your food and your lore videos. I'm just gonna punch a bunch of trash cans. Because that's what I do. Is there nothing up here? Or are there hidden things up here that I almost gave up on? No, there's absolutely nothing up here. Unless... No, there's nothing. There's nothing here. Great! Hey, what happens if I just jump off of here? No fall damage.
ごめん。
Fair enough, Allie. Hand seal. Oh, what? I have to... Okay. Thank you, Arcade. How are you doing, friend? I appreciate it. Even if it's late, it doesn't matter. You still said happy birthday. Thanks. It was a wonderful day. I'm still, like, super tired from it, but it was a lot of fun. How are you doing, though? How's it going? I saw that Here for Sweethearts got an update today. I might be playing that tomorrow in my spare time. Also, this place. I'm allowed to go in here, but I can't go in here. Okay. Magnetic greetings. Location A and B, no change. Location C, upward trend. Location D, no change. Location E, no reading returned. Possibly broken? I've got a bad feeling about all this. I need to contact the others. Oh, is this Ed's apartment? This is Ed's apartment. What's in here? Look at that sparkling dongo! Nether dongo! Report written by KK regarding a number of disappearances that took place near a manhole. Acquiring this will grant you additional spirit skill points. What is happening? I'm like interrupting them and I don't care. Need all these ASAP, thanks. Ringo, it's Inspecting Underworld Gates, Encyclopedia of Japanese Sorcery, Life and Death, A Cultural History, Instant Noodle Almanac 2020. Is he getting sassy because I found the Ether Dango? Food from the underworld not only restores your health like everyday food, but also grants you a temporary boost to your abilities. Remaining duration of a food's item effect is shown in the gauge displayed in the bottom left corner. Okay. I just want some noodles. Can I just have some noodles? Also, look at this good conspiracy board. Not quite enough red yarn, but still very good. A round doll said to be modeled after a Buddhist monk that brings good luck when displayed. It's a Daruma. Look at all these collectibles. Hey, it's the dev's logo. Okay. Ooh. You can't have noodles though, can you? Like there aren't any that you could do. Hi TK! I got a little bit of rest. I'm still really tired, but like in a good way. How are you doing today? How's it going? Wow, KK over here being like, fuck the body count. Also, was that the Kuchisaka Onna I saw? I might have seen her in the trailers. I don't know if that's actually what she is, but that's what she looked like. This. Unknown man. Okay. Nice. Is there really? I might need to look into that because I have a lot of games from Itch.io. I might have to look into this alley. Welcome home. Are you done for the day, or are you just here for a break? Also, look at this bow. KK, that means nothing. You just said nonsense words at me. These words that you said, they mean nothing. Yay! I'm happy for you. Good. Aww. Who's the lady? I want to know who the lady is. Is there anything else here? No. Okay. Just a little. I have to sneeze. Meet Erica, Ebisu Station, West Exit. To KK, put the utensils away, throw out the empty food containers, and get the kitchen cleaned up before I get back, you slob. But this is a little much. But if he's busy doing all the stuff, it's fine. Yeah, no, we got the void just kind of oozing out of our face a little bit. Okay, up we go. Whoa! Oh, I can't. Hold on. What is happening? This is horrifying. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Where am I going? What is happening? No ammo in the turlet. Can't carry any more of these. Where am I going? I have 6 minutes to find what I need. This game is called Ghostwire Tokyo. We are a dead boy looking for our sister, and we've been possessed by another dead guy. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Oh. And we just gotta do a bunch of stuff. Stop a guy from wiping out all of Shibuya. Hey, Gally. There's the game link if you're interested in checking it out or getting a better description of what's happening compared to what I have offered, because I am bad at describing things. But it's cool. We dig it. We're here for it. Excuse me. I'm sure I have, like, plenty of time to figure this out, but I'm still panicking. Give me this. Can't have that. Never mind. In here? Okay. I really dig it, though. Oh no. Do you want me to jump up from over here? Yeah, you do. Fuck your vacuum. Whoa! I might turn the tutorials off because they are a little intrusive. They were kind of like the soot sprites, right? Hey, did it. Hey, we did it. Okay. Well, before we do that, KK, I do want to kind of like poke around and steal stuff. I think I do, yeah. I'm gonna keep them on for right now, since I'm still, like, acclimating to controls and generally what's happening. But next time we play this, I might turn it off. Because they're a little much. Still nothing up here. Just gonna hop on down. What is this? Tab. Oh, I like that. Okay. I know you want me to go that way, but there are... Hold on. Listen, KK, there's spirits over here, and I want them. I can't get through here. This is tragic. Oh! Give me spirits. I can't go up there. Can I, like... Sorry, Whoa! Hi, ma'am. Not me just staring at her because I don't know what's happening. Ow. Ow. I can absorb the spirits, and then I'll put them in the phone booths, and they'll be able to be brought back to life. Or so KK tells us. I don't know that I trust him. Honestly. Seems a little dubious. There's a spooky ghost over there. Dog? Dog. I can read his thoughts? Gib. This is hurting me. This is hurting me. I'll just help myself, says Dog. I'm here. Thank you, Dog. Dog gave me money. That's a good dog. Okay, over here. Well, I was gonna try and sneak up on him, but I don't know how to cancel attacks, so... I mean, he was digging, so assumably he had his money in the ground. You know? Not the fur money. Not Spirit. So I haven't thought about that movie in a hot minute. Not the poo money. Y'all. Listen, where am I going? Over here. We're going over here. Okay. Did they really? Well, did they come out with a new... Hold on. Like a new spirit thing? I do vaguely remember that. But that's only because I worked at a daycare for a while. Cat! Like this? Okay, find a way to purge the corruption. Oh, you want me to... Okay. Interesting. Absorb! Spirits can sometimes be caught up in unchecked corruption. You can use your spectral vision to uncover the source. Understood. Okay, well, before we move... As a happy cat. This place has arrows, buddy. I have 11 of these. That's seems like a lot. We're gonna buy more. You can give the dongo to dogs. I'm gonna buy some more food, I guess. We have a lot of dog food on us at the moment, so I don't necessarily need to purchase more. We love the kitties here. There's lots of good animals in this game so far. Excuse me. Today might be a shorter stream than usual, just as a heads up. I am very tired. I'll probably go for like another half hour, maybe another hour. I am like sleepy though. But I'm glad that I started this. And I did want to stream. Cat! What can I give you, kitty cat? Can I pet you? Or are you gonna be upset about it? What is this? I need money so I can buy cat food. Is this enough money to buy cat food? Do you have cat food? Is it can of cat is this? Can I buy the mackerel for the cat? I realized that the last sentence I said wasn't really words. Oh, don't punch the cat. Hold on. I wanna... Oh, but there's spirits up here. So that's not too bad. Okay. Cat doesn't want to have anything to do with me at the moment. Understood. I would like to find a telephone booth so that we can turn in these spirits, because we're getting kind of full. Whoa. We are incredibly full. I can only fit two more things. But I can't go any further that way, so that is not the play. You! Oh, the way that that statue just looked at me! Praying to Jesus statues will permanently raise your maximum SP, the energy required to perform ethereal weaving. Nice. It's still looking at me? It's not. Okay. I didn't like that, though. Hi, Spaghetti. That's okay. Do your lurk thing. We love the kitty cat here. Okay, wait, what? Not a Tengu. Oh. Also, are Jesus statues not usually... Are they usually green? While in grappling and gliding, you can move through the air by making use of your grapple and glide abilities. Hold space to glide for a while. Oh, Jesus robes are usually red. Okay. The more you know. Oh, I hate it. Sorry. Hi, buddy. Bad oh. I wanted to look at him. Yeah, the Tengu. He's, we'll just leave him be, I guess. He's not hurting anyone at the moment. Also, what are these? Sorry, there are things over here. Thought I heard another one. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I do? Wait, this is where we have been here. But where is... I hear the Tengu. Just... The crowing and cawing that they are doing is horrible. There he is. There we go. Forgot I need to focus in. Hey, I understand I can't survive there. I get it. Oh. Okay. I did it bad. That's fine. Still trying to, like, figure out how that fully works. I'll get it eventually. I desperately need to find a telephone booth. Okay, hold on. That's not what I was trying to do. Where's my map? Telephone booth. How do I... Place a waypoint. E. Oh, it's just right here. This game is so pretty. I really like it so far. I'm very excited to, yeah, the umbrella's in here with me, it's fine. I'm super excited to play more of this. It's very pretty.
録音された音声かな。
エドは人と話すのが苦手なんだよ。
That's okay, Ed. I get it. Have you seen any visitors? Recording left behind by Ed, wherein he discusses visitors. Hey, health increase already. Also, I should... that's the wrong one. How do I get to my menu? Is it map? Kind of. I don't remember what the papers were called. Let me get rid of all of these. Katsushiro. Katsushiro? Is what the paper is called. Boop, 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 boop. Dango. Delicious. Tasty food.
遭遇してるんじゃないか。安心してくれ。これからもっと遭遇する。うんざりするのはまだ早いぞ。彼らは負の感情の集合体だ。それをロマンチックな表現にすると汚れと言うんだったね。汚れがエーテルと結びつき生まれるのがまれびとだ。しかし、負の感情の具現化がスーツ姿の男性や高校生の姿なのは現代ならではだな。きっと昔は侍や忍者や芸者の姿だったに違いない。話によるとまれびとには客人の意味もあるそうだね。 工事の国からやってくる存在のことでもあり、異国の人間という意味でもある。つまり、僕やデイルもある意味、まれびとだ。
Interesting. Skills is what I was trying to do. Hey, increase the HP restored by enemy core extraction by 10. What is this? Faster sneaking. Yes, please. Ooh, extra ether would be cool. Increases the speed at which you absorb spirits. Oh, I like this. Being able to do a quick purge on a downed enemy. Increases damage to enemies on the ground. Melee core grab. I want extra speed for grabbing cores. Ooh, extra time for core exposure would be good. but I kinda want extra glide. What does this do though? Range boost for spectral vision. Okay, cool. Lots of like upgrade options, which is pretty cool. There's a shrine up there. Oh, not what I wanted to do. Where? There was one flying around. There he is. Oh my god, that was loud. Where did it go? Slash, how do I get over there? What is that? What are those? Whoa! Whoa! I need these Tengu to not be screaming at me as much as they do. They are loud lads. Give me this though.
助けを求める霊の声が聞こえてくる。助けてやろうぜ。
We're gonna save them, he says. And I don't know if that's true. Oh, I can see where the other Torii gates are. Side missions? Oh, it's gonna be one of those games, isn't it? Hanazuki around October. It's the Japanese calendar encyclopedia. The 10th month in traditional Japanese lunar calendar. The middle character of the kanji for Kanazuki was initially used just for its sound instead of its meaning. This should be nothing to write home about, except that while the pronunciation should mean month of the gods, the kanji themselves read the month without gods. Further complicating this is the fact that it is the month the Shinto gods are said to convene at the Izumo Taisha shrine. So it can be both interpreted either as the gods coming together for this month or as the gods leaving their usual homes, thus making it a month when they are absent. The more you know. These buddies are extremely loud. Whoa, that glide is wacky. Oh, can't be here. Oh, can't be here. Oh, doing it bad. This is fine. This is fine. I need to go this way, though. To get to the next thing. Also, I can hold 14 spirits now, which is pretty exciting. Let's do the side mission, and then we'll probably call it there, depending on how long it takes. Because yeah, like I said, I'm pretty tired today, but I did want to stream even just a little bit. And we have. We've done like an hour and a half. Is that a cat I heard? Is there anything cool in here? I just like how things are just floating around and it's just fine. Here comes a new ranking battle. 37th ranking battle for Special Fighting Heroes 3 version 2.2 is almost ready. This fighting game masterpiece still has scores of fans eagerly labbing out every nook and cranny its system and characters have to offer. New players are also more than welcome. Date and time every Wednesday. Reception opens at 7 p.m. Tournament begins at 7:30 p.m. Entrance fee 500 yen. Cabinet set to free play after the tournament. Shibuya Underground Arcade Kadomi. Yeah, I'm really glad that, like, I got to like check this out today. Like I said, it's one that I've been like looking forward to for the last like when I saw it announced last year. And I'm excited that we get to check it out together. It's really cool so far. It's kind of nice. It's definitely a little different than what we've been doing. But yeah. I don't really need to purchase any food, do I? Look, we're finding enough stuff. I don't really need to buy food, right? Yeah, I'm trying to... Okay.
溜まった情念はやがて汚れとなり奴らを生み出す。
放っておくわけにはいかないね。水がたくさん溜まってるとこ探してみるか。
そうだな。この辺りだと。
Gotta look for places where water is cooling. Okay. I'm very sleepy. We did a lot yesterday. We streamed like a lot, and that was a lot of money. We hung out with everyone, and it was just good. It was the good kind of emotional taxing, but was emotionally taxing. It was a really good day, but yeah, I'm very, very tired today. But like I said, I did want to stream, so I was excited about this, and also just like, I like streaming, and I like hanging out with everyone. Okay, oh, I'm supposed to do this out here. I thought I was supposed to look for cooling water in here. Okay. Everything is tripping out. That face, though. What is happening over there? Ma'am, what are you doing? Okay, that's a lot going on. These dudes are creepy. Just the shuffling is horrible. It's not great to watch. Oh, are you like blowing kisses to me? Whoa! Alright, come here. Oof! How do we get up there? To feel indeed. I don't really need to do any of those. Can I get rid of that? Oh, is this just where they were? Not up there? Okay, that's great, actually. I am going to constantly hit Q instead of tab, just so everyone knows. Also, she's gonna try and come over here. She's gonna try and get over here. Okay, maybe it is about time that we dump some of these out. No, she's gonna notice me. Give me your core, man. There is one behind me. Okay. Cool. Oh, I am so easily distracted. I'm... This is fine. This is fine.
中を調べるぞ。
Oh, this is where I needed to go, though. Great. That's delightful, because I was gonna continue to wander away. I mean, I am wandering away right now. Oh, doggo! Hey, what can I do for you, buddy? Have some food.
お食べ。
Have some food,
慌てず
pal.
に食べな。
You gonna give me some food, aren't ya? Or not food, money. Money for food. I am happy that the dogs give me money. Works out for everybody. Is there anything else around here? There are some spirits over there. Oh! Hi!
見守ってくれそう。
そうだな。
Is there anything over there? There are... How do I get up? Give me that. Oh, that was my glide activating. Spooked me. Get on up there, buddy. Okay, let's go into the bathhouse. And see what's going on here. What is
銭
happening?
湯といえばコーヒー牛乳だけど。
そんな風情はねえな。
Oddly specific thing. Every day's spoopy day. But hi Freya, how's it going, friend? How you doing? It is weird that the zoom is the same button as like interact. I will probably change that. Have interact be like E or something. This spoopy bathhouse. Freya, you were playing Scarlet Hollow last time?
こんなところに
Nice.
入るの初めてだ。
How are you doing today, friend? How's it going? Hey, you're Kayshurrr. That's me. That's me. That's... Huh! Why did that scare me? Horrible.
嫌な気配がする。汚れがよどんで空間を
Oh
歪
my
めているのか。
goodness. Okay. What is going on in here?
何ここ？これも汚れのせい。
Oh, hi! Hello!
戦うしかないぜ。
Hey, I did it good! I did it good! Spaghetti! They just don't want me going places. That's what's happening. They just... The seats say that's not for me. And it's rude. But I get it. That's not the button I wanted to hit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Yikes. Can we not do that attack, please? Get fucked. Oh god. The giggles though. Can you get out of here, ma'am? Dude, like, ran up on me. Holy shit.
エーテルが足りないぞ。エーテル結晶体で補給するんだ。
Oh, okay, I understand. I understand. We'll find... Okay. It's a little wet over here. It's fine. Can we do it? Are we winning? We did it. The combat is a little bit repetitive, but I don't like hate it.
無事に戻れたな。これであのよどみも消えただろう。
All done? Maybe no spirits.
街が元に戻ったら銭湯も再開するかな。
どうだかな。
Pick
ゆく
up.
川の流れは絶えずして、しかも
Nope, that's not what I wanted to do.
物事や状況
Absorb
は
those
常に変わってく
spirits.
ってことだ。
There was ammo in the toilet, by the way. Bathhouse accounting records. July. Revenue down 2% from last month. August revenue. August. Revenue down 3% from last month. Degradation of facilities is substantially impacting customer traffic. Renovation urgently needed. Well, consider doing that then. I
安心ってとこだな。
can't carry anymore, and this is tragic. Hold on, so let's exit. Let's go to a phone booth, which is here. And then we'll come back and get that one spirit, because if I don't do it now, then I will forget that they exist there. Fortunately, it's not too far. Okay, cool. Use, please. And then we'll probably end there. 'Cause I am a sleepy lady. But yeah, we'll probably pick this up. I don't necessarily want to wait until next weekend. I'll let everyone know what the plan is once I figure it out. Because I'm also super invested in The Walking Dead. Fruity and I will need to discuss plans for that. Yeah, I was gonna stream for a little longer, but I'm extremely tired today. Yeah, it's been a good, we've done a lot of resting today already, but I think I still need to just kind of chill out a little more. Yesterday just, like, wiped me out. Oh, but, like, in a good way. Is there a save option? Not load. Save. Cool. Cool. Quit to title menu then. But yeah, so I'm gonna get some rest, but we did stream for like 2 hours today, so I'm happy with that. Tomorrow, I don't know what the plan is. I'll stream at my normal times this week, but we're gonna do some different things, but I will let you all know once I have a plan. But yeah, as always, thanks y'all for being here. Especially while we check out a new game. I'm excited to play more of this. Thanks for being here, y'all. Alright, let's see. We got lots of friends on right now. Who do we have? Sorry. Oh my god. I've got Sayawada doing Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. ATM Zero doing some Elden Ring. Black Girl Gamers doing The Sims 4. Princess Measy doing some Valorant. Tinsera doing some Minecraft. And Ghosty is doing some Bloodborne. I kind of want to go say hi to Ghosty, if y'all are cool with that. I am willing to take suggestions, though, if anyone else wants to see anyone. But I've been really enjoying watching Ghosty play Bloodborne for the first time. But while y'all let me know if that is okay, there are the raid messages. The first one is for anyone. It's got global emotes on it. Second one has our channel emotes on it. Doesn't seem like anyone is objecting to us going and saying hello to Ghosty. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that raid. Yeah. I don't know. Thanks for being here, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. And it's always just delightful to hang out, even if we end up not doing what we had originally planned. Yeah. I don't know. Just keep being awesome, y'all. But go say hi to our friend Ghosty. Take care of your dang selves. Have a good rest of your time zone, and we'll see y'all next time.